For the past 10 years here on RSN, we've talked about the incredible sharing that goes on within the RE/MAX organization. From referrals to ideas, RE/MAX associates trying to help each other improve their business and improve their quality of life. But we've never told you a story like the one you're about to hear. For you see, this story is not about referrals and sharing a new idea. It's sharing the gift of life itself. RE/MAX News Chief Correspondent Mark Riccardi has the details.
For Paul Bellhumer, every day in the office is a gift. A chance to pursue the career he loves in an office surrounded by coworkers he considers friends. That's because 15 years ago, a doctor told Paul he was dying of kidney disease.
His kidneys were failing, and when the kidneys fail, there's really three things that you can do. You can go on to dialysis, you can have a kidney transplant, or if you can't have either of those things, then kidney failure will lead to death. So without a kidney transplant, he was looking at dialysis for the rest of his life.
And so Paul went to work on a much more important deal. A deal to hopefully save his own life by raising awareness of his disease and the need for organ donors.
The search for a donor probably started about 3 years ago when I saw my nephrologist, the specialist I see. He mentioned to me, you understand now you have probably about 30% kidney function today. And probably within a year to 2 years, you will probably need a kidney. And so now I'm going to register you with the Transplant Society and get you assessed to see if you're a candidate for a donor. And from that point on, then we're going to have to begin a search for a donor. Now, if I wait for a cadaver donor, the wait now is 7 years. So your best course of action is for you to actively start looking for a live donor. First I went home and I went, holy cow, what am I going to do now? And I sat back and I said, well, I have to be proactive about this whole process. And so one of the biggest things I did is I started a email program of everybody I knew, from sales associates at the office to all my friends, relatives, and everybody. I just started a program. I email them every quarter and say, here's Paul's kidney update. This is what's going on. This is my blood type, and this is the blood type I need for someone to match for a live donor. And I told the whole process about a 7-year wait list for a cadaver kidney, and I would really, ideally, I could, if I went a live donor program, I skipped the waiting list, we just book operating time, and away we go.
Ken Cowie was one of Paul's co-workers in the RE/MAX 2000 Guilford office. He says at first, he didn't pay much attention.
Well, at the time, you know, I didn't really give it much thought. Nothing was really an emergency. He was just telling us, you know, he's got some health problems. And I actually heard a couple people in the office actually went forward, and they went and got their blood tested. And so I thought, you know, that was a novel idea. So I thought I would go get my blood tested and get eliminated.
All along, my hopes were up in the sense that I was being proactive in looking for a donor. I did not want to get my hopes up in saying, well, there'll be a donor tomorrow. I was prepared to think, well, if a donor doesn't happen, I will start dialysis and I'll have to deal with my life with dialysis. And that's all you can do. I mean, for someone to donate an organ to you, it takes a major commitment, financially, spiritually, mentally. There's so many issues. If they have a family, they have to deal with that. So I really never really wanted to get my hopes up because there's so many opportunities for you to get disappointed. I could only just be proactive and let people know and promote organ donation.
Until finally, there was no avoiding the truth. Ken Cowie, a fellow RE/MAX agent, was a perfect kidney donation match for the dying Paul Bellhumer. And so on Paul's birthday, Ken quietly informed his co-worker of 23 years he had a very special birthday present.
He was a little overwhelmed too, you know. But, you know, we both know each other for years, you know, men and feelings, you know, the two things we know about him is like, what are they and how do we get rid of them? So, you know, we both fought our emotions back, and I really didn't want to get a whole lot emotional.
Ken grabbed me and says, I got something to talk to you about, and let's grab a coffee, and he took me into one of the private closing rooms, and he sat down and he goes, I've been being tested for the last 8 months to be a donor for you. I've got the green light. Basically what I remember is we can go ahead and I can give you my kidney. When would you like to schedule that? And I pretty much went, wow, what do you say? There's not a word there's absolutely nothing that I can say that even begins to say how grateful I was. It was a bit overwhelming.
On June 23rd, both men entered the Vancouver hospital, hoping to save one RE/MAX associate's life and in the process forever change both agents' lives. After a 2.5-hour procedure and several weeks of recovery, both men are back at work. Paul's doing just fine with his new kidney, and his doctors say his prognosis is excellent for a long and healthy real estate career and retirement.
Recovery's coming along great. I started right away. You have to go to the transplant clinic twice a week for a month, and then once a week for the next month. And now I've just gone to once every 2 weeks. They do blood work and everything is working perfect. I haven't had a hiccup. Touch wood. Everything's just going perfect. I just, yeah, I got the okay to start golfing, so what could be better?
And the message from both men? Find out about organ donation in your area and get tested to see if you can be a donor. Because the bottom line on this deal is organ donation saves lives.
This message out of our story is for people to become an organ donor. Become an organ donor. When you become a live organ donor and donate a kidney, you really skip, the recipient skips all the waiting lists. They just book the operating room time and they can be fixed. I think, if memory corrects me, a person on dialysis costs the healthcare system $60,000 a year. Once you get a new kidney, it now drops to like $6,000 a year. So just that helps. Be an organ donor.